We have a special guest with us today. It's Amichai פישר, former senior official in the Prime Minister's office and currently working as PhD at Tel Aviv University of Jewish Studies. So thanks for being with us, Amichai. Thank you.
Thank you.
Worked closely in the top echelon of government here, alongside Prime Minister Netanyahu, I think, for much of your tenure there. Look, if you give us just a brief, describe how you grew up and sort of how that's transitioned to where you find yourself in society today, and I guess on top of that, how your career, influenced that, your exposure, to really the deepest issues in the country. What kind of impact has that had on your thinking today?
Yeah, I was growing in the religious Zionist society. I was growing in the mainstream of this society, and one of the main unique characteristic of this sector is that they are living in a tension. And maybe the one of the most important tensions is between the great Israel, Eretz Yisrael Shlema value, and the values of universal values, human rights, equality. There is a tension. Yeah. Always there was. It's a very fruitful tension. And today it seems that we got in a point that we came that the political system wants us to decide maybe this value over this value. Yeah. And it's very frightening. During the working in government, we have a lot of kinds of status quo. And status quo means that we have few values, and we don't want one of the values to overcome another value, so we have status quo. How to make all of them live together. And we are in a moment, I see this as a biblical moment. Yeah. So you need to decide. We get to the point that we have to decide. And this kind of decision is not good decision. Yeah. We need to have them all.
And it's feeling, as it's sort of been forced on us all suddenly. I would chime in there that this wasn't a sort of existential, crisis and questioning that a lot of people had on their minds until just these last few months, or maybe it was in the back of our minds, but it's certainly come to the fore right now. Mm-hmm. Look, you wrote this week some eye-opening things about this dilemma, this tension you described, that even calling it a type of revolution taking place right now among the country's religious Zionist communities. Explain that.
Yeah, in 2017, Smotrich has published an article in Hashiloach.
Current finance minister.
Yeah. That the name of it's Tochnit HaAchra'ah. You can translate it as a strong, decisive plan, or maybe defeat plan.
All right.
Yeah, and in the aspect of defeat is defeat the Palestinian, to imply all the Israeli rule over the 2065 territories, and by using major military force, so we can rule in the old territory of Great Israel. This means it implies two kind of rule, two kind of law to Jewish and Palestinian.
And you mentioned him, Smotrich. I mean, he's a leading figure in this community, perhaps the leading figure.
Yeah, now, this day he is a leading figure. And the way to get to this decision, so the value of the great Israel will overcome the values of equality, of human rights, is through the juristical revolution, because it's not a technical issue. Look, it's a reform of values.
In brief, we don't have much time left in this. Can we repair these rifts? Do you think there's a way we can overcome this issue now in the short term, come back to this healthy status quo?
Status quo is always a tension, and we need to find a way how to live inside the tension. Maybe this is the most important thing. We don't need to solve everything.
Fair enough.
And this is why I wrote it, because I want to approach to the sector of religious Zionists and to ask them, do you stand for this decision? Do you really stand for overcome one value of the great Israel over the equality, human rights, or you want to still have this fruitful tension between values that
which is
I think this is Judaism.
It's led to what we see today, the vibrant country around us, and it's an important, the dilemma so many people wrestling with today, forced on us or not. It's the reality. Amichai, Fisher, thanks for being with us. Eye-opening conversation. Keep up your good work, in terms of keeping these issues out there in the public for discussion and discourse. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.